What is music?
I like to think that I have an open mind when it comes to music. My biggest pet peeve, I guess, so meaning the only things that I really don't like is music where it's just kind of pointless, rambling on. So a lot of the top 40 stuff is just product placement and things like that. It's just in it for the money. As long as there's emotion in the music, I mean, then that's good music to me. The only things that I don't consider music are things that have no emotion in it. And I'm not saying that all the top 40s hits are, not music, because there are some good ones out there, but for the most part, I mean, my definition of music is an artist's release of their emotions into their instrument.
It's kind of hard to say sometimes because, music is really one of those next to impossible things to define. It usually just ends up ending up being rather to be something that carries a tune or something that you can really kind of it's either a groove or a beat or something like that. It really just depends on what your definition of it is. Personally, I kind of, because I'm a musician, I kind of have a bit of elitist view of the fact that I have a hard time accepting a lot of stuff that doesn't really incorporate any kind of musical instrument or any kind of playing method as being music. But by the same token, I also realize that the importance of composition and even just coming up with a song on your computer can be difficult too.
That's a tough one. I mean, everyone likes to give the standard response that music is organized sound. I tend to have a pretty open mind about music, and I try to listen to things that people show me, so
Sure.
there aren't too many things I wouldn't consider music.
What do you think rhythm is, and why do we react to it?
A rhythm is it's the beat. It's the driving undercurrent of all music that just if you get into it, it's the thing that it makes you bob your head to something or it makes you wanna. It's a feeling more than anything.
What is rhythm? I mean, this goes back to what is music. It's organized sound, but I think the difference is that rhythm is a strictly temporal thing. So mostly in music, you have two scales, right? You have the frequency scale and the time scale. We react to harmonic content the way we do, I think, because of its similarity to human voice. By the same token, I think we react to rhythm the way we do because so many things in daily life, when they are rhythmic, are positive. They're good. Your heart is beating, you're walking, you're running. These are all very vital things that humans interpret as good. So when you hear this in your art, you feel good.
One major effect that the internet has had on musical society is to eliminate physical spaces. Communication and sharing is so easy and high fidelity that artists and listeners associate regardless of location. With the freedom to leave distances behind, is there any reason to have ties to the musical community that is physically close to you?
Can you name 3 musicians who live within 10 miles of where you live?
Oh boy. It's a tough question.
Musical acts that I know that live in Ottawa. You know what? I actually don't think I know any producers that I listen to often that live in Ottawa.
I believe if I had to name some local acts I could come up with off the top of my head, there's Immersed, there's Today I Caught the Plague, there's Sunburst, there's Aggressor. Not sure about the 10 miles thing, but I know they're all local to the area. But the interesting thing about those is I'm not necessarily that much of a follower of the local scene. I've more discovered them through them opening for other more prolific acts that have come through.
By contrast, how many musicians do you think you could name who don't live within 10 miles of where you live?
Oh, lots.
Probably thousands.
Oh, I mean, the list could go on.
A lot of them are actually from Europe, like Netherlands is a huge area for production. DJ Tiesto comes from the Netherlands, and a lot of the drum bass producers. Sweden is pretty big. Iceland, yeah. So, not that much Americans.
Do you think that, in general, is it important to support local music and local acts, or is music basically without a place now? It's decentralized. It's physical place is not important.
I think the music I listen to is decentralized. You have collaborations between people that live on different continents. I mean, that's really saying something, that even the musicians themselves don't consider location to be important. Obviously, for physical bands, it's a lot different. So I guess I'm giving you a different perspective than you would hear from someone that listens to instrumental music.
Local music, I mean, it's the underground, I guess, to all of the bigger acts. A lot of the times it's it's those kids who are out at the bigger acts, supporting them, and I mean their dream is the same. They want to play the big stages and stuff like that, and I mean they're working as hard as they can to get to that point, and so I mean supporting a local scene is obviously a big thing to me, because that's my dream too, and it's just a great feeling when you can walk out on a local stage and you have all of your friends standing there watching you, because I mean that's where it starts, right? It's the foundation to becoming bigger, and it's just a really great payment to see your hard work pay off like that.
So it feels good to be doing that, like where you live and among people you know.
Absolutely, it feels great to see all the people I love and all my family and stuff like that come out to the shows and have a great time and enjoy our music, and it's just a great feeling.
It's definitely, like, promoting local acts, I think, is really the big part of a lot of things, because, like, it's one thing to go to, your local band and either buy, like, the EP they've recorded for next to nothing for it, but I think it's another thing entirely to potentially, like, go on your favorite site and shoot them an email saying, hey, these guys are from my area, they're pretty good, you might feasibly like them, because then I think word of mouth kind of translates into much better promotion and much better potential financial return than just necessarily going out and supporting them yourself financially is.
Sure. So you think it's probably the best course of action is to get them out of the local scene into the internet scene?
Yes.
You're always going to have ties to your local community, right? And I mean, if things were to go global, that would be a dream come true. To be able to say that, I'm in a touring band would be phenomenal. But I would always make sure to never forget where I came from, and I would make regular visits back, to the local community, and thank the people that helped me create my dream, and actually put it into effect. I don't see anything wrong with social media helping music go global, and I mean if anything, it's only a benefit because it helps you reach out outside of your local community.
Nothing bad, I don't think, can come of more acts having an audience. If nothing else, it forces the acts that are out there that are hearing what's going on at this point to potentially step their game up or to be swept in under the flood. Like, it's one of those things where it encourages healthy competition, if nothing else.
There is clearly a delocalization effect, but apparently the need remains for a local scene interacting with the global scene. But what territory remains for the local scene to stand out and be heard? Maybe the advantage of proximity lies in live performances, in person and on stage.
Do you like live music performances? Do you like getting the full recording quality? What do you prefer? Or is there a bit of both?
Frankly, it depends what I'm looking for, because when I go to a concert, I'm not going for sound quality, I'm going because it's a place where everyone is moving and you can have a good time and dance.
Definitely can't get the same experience. Even if it's the exact same song that sounds the exact same way that you heard it when you heard it on the album, there's sort of an energy that you get live from a live performance and from the interplay between the band and the crowd that really sort of adds something completely different to it that you can't get when you see something, or rather when you hear something at your home, and that applies across all genres.
It seems that computers, creative software, and social media have caused a period of transition for everyone involved with or attracted to the art of music. It's difficult to see where the road is heading, but it's increasingly clear that, with so many different artists and acts out there, there are many different roads to take. As a bonus question, I asked these guys about a setting that was totally removed from their current social and technological circumstance.
If we were living 100 years ago, do you think you'd make music?
Oh, absolutely. I don't care what I'm playing on. I would sit there with an acoustic and write music even if it was 100 years ago. The technology doesn't affect the music I play. It just makes it easier as part of a group to play the music.
Tough question. I really do love the medium of production and computers and being able to play with harmonics this way. And I don't think synthesizers were really even coming into play 100 years ago. What would I be doing 100 years ago? I would probably be making sheet music, or perhaps just solo playing. I'd probably do it. If I hadn't discovered production, I would probably still be hacking away at my piano and still composing on the piano, because I did compose on the piano at first before I discovered production. So I'd probably have continued that.
It's kind of an interesting thing because music even 100 years ago meant something different than it did now. Like way back when, it was primarily a form of storytelling versus necessarily a means of sort of popular media experience or means of facilitating the method of dance, shall we say?
Sure.